and gentlemen, are you ready to meet distinguished Toastmaster Richard Peck?
Yes.
If you do, yes, thunders of applause, right? Let us invite distinguished Toastmaster Richard Peck for the keynote address. Woo!
Well, thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Can everyone hear me okay? Excellent. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here. And Carmen, thank you for taking me down that trip on memory lane. What I'd like to ask everyone to do is open up your chat window for a minute. I'd like to ask you a question, and I'm going to watch the chat window to see the response. In one word, how would you describe 2020? Exciting, challenging, unprecedented, volatile. There's a new one. Chaotic. Thank you, Amanda. Now there was a funny one. Hello, can you hear me? How many times have we heard that? Or you're on mute. Excellent. So a lot of different views on what 2020 has been. The one word that I never see when I ask that question is opportunity. See, we're always focusing on the challenge because that seems to have the impact on us. But there's a flip side to challenge, just like there's a flip side to every coin. And it's what are the opportunities that exist, not what is the challenge. If we constantly look at things as a challenge and that becomes our focus, then it becomes very difficult to move forward. It becomes very difficult to see things differently. You know, we hear this saying over and over again. We're doing it this way because we've always done it this way. Well, guess what? That went out the window in March. There was no more we have ever done it this way. The world changed and we couldn't do things the way we've always done them before. And I know the district director has had her hands full trying to find new ways of keeping the district connected, keeping her team moving forward. But there's always an opportunity within that challenge if we look for it. We heard the theme of the day is we learn best in times of enjoyment. We agree. I enjoyed that video this morning, learned a lot about the people here, learned a lot about this club just in that little video. But we grow most in times of challenge because we have to stretch ourselves to do things a little differently, to look at things a little differently, to be a little different. When the pandemic hit us and really started taking hold, government said members couldn't meet in person, couldn't be in the same room. I don't like to say it's social distancing. I like to refer to it as physical distancing because we're all being very social. We just can't be next to each other. So it's physical distancing, not social distancing. And what could have happened at that point? We could have just said clubs can't meet, members stop getting together, the organization comes to a standstill, members stop growing, members stop gaining skills. And what would the outcome have been? Probably not so bright when we think about it. The challenge was, how do we keep our members engaged? How do we keep the organization going? Well, the opportunity, have clubs meet online. Find a resource for them that will allow them to stay connected. Now, I'm not sure how many members your club has in total, but I know there's near 60 people on this call today. And you're connecting people from around the world. That opportunity would not have happened if it weren't for the challenge. The opportunity for members around the world to learn about MAICSA Toastmasters, to learn some cultural dynamics of the people of Malaysia. And unless you're in Malaysia, you're not going to get a chance to experience the great food that you have, but you're still going to allow people to learn a little bit about you. And that is a big opportunity. We are making the world a smaller place, not physically. Obviously, we can't shrink the world physically, but we're allowing individuals from around the world to connect with one another, to learn more about each other, to really get that sense of awareness. That would not have happened if we weren't facing this challenge. The convention this year, that was a challenge. What to do? We know by our governing documents that we have to have the international speech contest and the business meeting. But who's really going to show up for that other than those voting delegates that have to be there? So how do we make the convention viable? Challenge, what to do? Opportunity, put it online and make it free for everybody. Now, Carmen had mentioned being at a convention before. Generally, we have about 2,000 to 3,000 members that appear at our conventions. When you talk about 350,000 members, not really a lot. This year, we had over 16,000 members register for the convention, 5 times more than we've had in the past. Challenge and opportunity. When I took on the role of president this year, I was hoping to be able to travel and visit our members, to spend time. But travel has obviously been restricted and we can't do that. So as a leader of the organization, how do I learn about our members? How do I stay connected? How do I know what you need and how we can help you? That was a challenge. The opportunity that arose was to conduct this world tour. A first time ever in the organization for a president to visit 145 clubs in 145 countries, of which MAICSA is the only club to be visited in Malaysia. It allows me to get to know you, to understand your club, to get to know what our members around the world need. But by being online, it allows you to bring others into your world. I've had several members that have been touring the world with me to visit other clubs and learn about our members, and it's been a great experience. What 2021 will hold has yet to be determined. But I know one thing, based on my experience and based on the time I'm spending with clubs around the world, there's nothing that's going to stop you from being successful. There's nothing that's going to stop you from achieving your goals. That you've got this. And that makes me feel very, very happy. But I'd also like to spend a little bit of time with you this morning reflecting on the 20 years of MAICSA Toastmasters. And we looked at those numbers as they were rolling across the board, DTMs, presidents, leaders. Wow, what great accomplishments to have in that 20 years. But 20 years is just a number. When we say to someone, wow, you're 65 years old, what a great age. No, it's just a number. What's more important is the impact that you've made over those 20 years. Think about the members who have come and gone. Think about your involvement in the district and your community. Think back on that one individual who came to your meeting, who was terrified, who got up to the lectern to do table topics, because that is the one thing we always do to our guests and new members. We give them the most terrifying thing in a club to do is table topics. Even those of us who are experienced don't jump up and volunteer for table topics generally. But they get up to the front of the room. They grab a hold of the lectern so tight that their knuckles turn white and they start swaying back and forth. The president of the club doesn't know whether they should run up and rescue them before they fall over or not. They barely get to the green light. They sit down and the color starts to come back to their face. But you encourage them and you support them. And over time, they get up there and they're giving speeches. They're taking on leadership roles. They're becoming district directors. That is impact. That is something that, regardless of age, never goes away. But think about the impact that you make on individuals who may only be visiting you, that take things and learn them and move them into their community. Those are the impacts that aren't seen, but are as important, if not more important, than the impacts we witness. When I leave here today, it might be a while before we see each other again. But I'm going to take something with me from this club that's going to put an impact on me, leave an impact on my heart. The video, the music, the outfits that I'm seeing today, the cultural gain that I'll have, will all leave an impact on me, but you may not see it. And oftentimes, those are the impacts that we make on members as well. In this time when we're required to be so far apart, but need to be so close together, you're making an impact by keeping individuals connected. You're making an impact on the world by inviting people into your club. And you're making an impact on the organization by continuing to help others achieve their goals, to grow into the individuals they want to be, to remove those self-imposed barriers that we often put on ourselves. MAICSA Toastmasters, you have been a bright, shining spot in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, in helping members grow. As you continue to reach out around the world, as you continue to make an impact, as you continue to have those times of enjoyment and learning, remember the impact that you're making. Remember the positivity that you bring forward. Remember that we don't have to do this alone, and that we grow most in times of challenge. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Richard Peck. Masters and guests, it is my pleasure to bring you in to our normal meeting conduct. Yes. First up, I would like to introduce to you our role players for this meeting. May